model of 21st century Jewish leadership. In preparing to do this talk, I watched a number of TED Talks online. One of them was titled The Leadership Game, Creating Cultures of Leadership by Drew Dudley. He shared a story from one of his first teaching experiences. He had confused a foreign exchange student on the meaning of leadership. Where she came from, the definition of leadership was clear-cut. Leaders were the individuals who had received good grades in school. So if you worked hard to receive good grades, you had the drive and ability to be a leader. And if not, you didn't. We used to have a more clear-cut definition of a leader as well, the great man theory. As shared in a recent article from Villanova University, the great man theory espouses that great leaders are born, not made. These individuals come into the world possessing certain characteristics and traits not found in all people. Under this theory, prominent leaders throughout the course of history were born to lead and deserve to do so as a result of their natural abilities and talents. Great leaders are heroes, according to the great man theory, that accomplish impressive feats against the odds on behalf of followers. The theory essentially implies that those in power deserve to lead because of the traits they've been endowed with. Dr. Hal Lewis references the great man theory in his book, From Sanctuary to Boardroom, A Jewish Approach to Leadership. He says, in place of the great man theory comes a newer understanding of leadership, one that bears an uncanny resemblance to that which has always been at the core of Jewish teachings. This new research consistently corroborates Judaism's classical perspective and suggests that adaptability, shared responsibility, and empowerment of followers, not ex cathedra pronouncements, lie at the core of effective leadership. Those who nurture others, who give the work back to the people themselves, are far more likely to succeed than those who bark commands and unilaterally impose their will upon the organization. Among contemporary leadership experts, the great man theory is obsolete. But we have seen many different types of leaders: the authoritarian leader, the inclusive leader, the innovative leader, the hesitant leader, and individuals leading with passion across many organizations. Now that most experts have rejected the great man theory, what is the replacement philosophy? The group of Ancona, Malone, Orlikowski, and Sange argue that it is the incomplete leader. They write, it's time to end the myth of the complete leader, the flawless person at the top who's got it all figured out. Only when leaders come to see themselves as incomplete, as having both strengths and weaknesses, will they be able to make up for their missing skills by relying on others. This has never rung truer than today, as leaders encompass extremely different demographics. The millennial culture is such a shift from previous practices that thousands of books and articles have been written about how to understand millennials, work with them, adapt to them, market to them, and so many other topics. Fittingly, the focus on shifting best practices is taking center stage. Dr. Lewis rightly discusses the need for models that speak to the younger generations. The evidence is overwhelming, he says. 20th century communal leadership models no longer resonate with many 21st century American Jews. Today's generation seeks a different kind of leadership, one that is far more egalitarian and less hierarchical, one that is committed to the diversity of American Jewish interests rather than to a single demographic, and one that can be trusted to understand both the Jewish past and the Jewish future. In the millennial culture of immediate gratification and complete customization, leaders who expect followers to join the rank and file of their organizations, as others have for years, are going to be left without members, followers, or organizations. In our course on becoming an effective Jewish leader, we spent time learning what Judaism teaches us about leadership. Timeless lessons. What attributes did Moses possess that set him apart? How can we apply lessons from the Torah to our organizations today? What advice has stood true through the test of time? I found the following lessons will help 21st century leaders succeed. Lesson 1, create a team with complementary skill sets. As we've been discussing, the myth that one man, yes, man, can single-handedly make an organization successful has been proven inaccurate. It is the leader who knows his or her strengths and weaknesses and surrounds him or herself with others of complementing strengths that finds true success. And Kana et al. Right. It's the leader's responsibility to create an environment that lets people complement one another's strengths and offset one another's weaknesses. We need to make sure we have the right partners to help us find success. By surrounding ourselves with a team of individuals who complement our skill sets, we help ensure that we're prepared for the task at hand. In fact, it is the strongest type of leader who can say, I can't do it all. And Kana and her team said it well. Once leaders diagnose their own capabilities, identifying their unique set of strengths and weaknesses, they must search for others who can provide the things they're missing. Dr. Lewis expands on the topic when he writes, as truly effective leaders will proudly attest, power sharing begins with a willingness to take counsel from someone wiser, regardless of status or position. Leaders need partners as advisors, mentors, and confidants. Giving up the illusion that the leader can do it all, that she or he must have all the answers, is an essential step in the process. One need look no further than Exodus to see that it is impossible for one man or woman to do it all. When his father-in-law saw the burden that Moses had single-handedly taken onto himself for the Israelites, he asked, "What is this that you are doing for the people? Why do you sit alone as judge, with all the people standing around you from morning till evening?" "Because the people come to inquire of God," Moses replied. "Whenever they have a dispute, it is brought to me to judge between one man and another, and I make known to them the statutes and laws of God." But Jethro's point was that Moses cannot do it on his own. Not only will he wear himself down, but his sacrifice isn't fair to the population, as they themselves must wait for him as the sole judge and leader. As the crowning model of leadership in Jewish texts, Moses learns from his father-in-law's advice and creates systems that lessen the burden on him and increase efficiency throughout. Just like Moses, we must surround ourselves with individuals who complement our strengths and offset our weaknesses. Lesson 2, let go of your ego. One of my favorite authors, Paulo Coelho, tells us the following story. a very rich young man went to see a rabbi in order to ask his advice about what he should do with his life. The rabbi led him over to the window and asked him, "What can you see through the glass?" "I can see men coming and going, and a blind man begging for alms in the street." Then the rabbi showed him a large mirror and said to him, "Look in this mirror and tell me what you see." "I can see myself." "And you can't see the others. Notice that the window and the mirror are both made of the same basic material, glass. You should compare yourself to these two kinds of glass. Poor, you saw other people and felt compassion for them. Rich, covered in silver, you see yourself. You will only be worth anything when you have the courage to tear away the coating of silver covering your eyes in order to be able to see again and love your fellow man." Good to Great author Jim Collins talks of level 5 leadership and a phenomenon he calls the window and the mirror. The idea is that a level 5 leader, a humble leader, looks out the window during triumph and into the mirror during challenges. As quoted by Aidan McCullen, the window and the mirror leader is crediting others for the company's success and blaming themselves for the company's failings. He or she doesn't feel it is a personal shot to their ego to accept responsibility when things go wrong. They rise to the occasion and take responsibility. Alternatively, the level 5 leader is quick to share the spotlight with their team during successes. This is a trait Collins and his team observed in every single top-performing company leader in their landmark study. In complete contradiction to most narcissistic CEOs, when things go wrong, they look out the window at their people and point the finger. When things go right, they look in the mirror and ensure all the credit goes to them. Narcissistic leaders want to be the smartest people in the room. Enlightened leaders want to surround themselves with the smartest people in the room. As the famous quote goes, "If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room." Collins writes, level 5 leaders differ from level 4 leaders in that they are ambitious first and foremost for the cause, the movement, the mission, the work, not themselves. And they have the will to do whatever it takes to make good on that ambition. Having the self-awareness and humility to serve the cause or the organization, not yourself, will make the difference in the 21st century. Imagine if all of our staffs let go of their egos completely for 1 week. How much could we achieve? How much further down the path would we be if we realized humility is not a sign of weak leadership, but of strength? As Harry Truman said, "It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who gets the credit." And so, I hope that organizations and individual leaders are paying attention and adjusting as needed. The leader who works in partnership with others will find that he or she still has an organization tomorrow. I challenge you to put into practice these lessons. Create a team with complementary skill sets and let go of your ego. It will take time and practice, but the Jews wandered in the desert for 40 years, so we can be patient. Thank you.